Hiya, Tuesday morning, and I've just pulled up at my first job, DX17 to have a nosy at, and then after that we're away up into the woods to look at a 160 high track with Adblue problems. Yeah, for the benefit of any new viewers and subscribers, I thought I'd better introduce myself. I'm Ali and I'm a service engineer for Gordon's Construction. These videos are sort of a day in the life of a plant engineer. I sort of noticed that there's a lot of videos on social media of operators working the machines, and I thought people might find it interesting to sort of go behind the scenes and see what it takes to keep these machines going. So that's what you'll see in these videos. Yeah, let's go and get a look at this DX17. Yeah, I've got this ram to replace, so not ideal with it being on the trailer, but it's got a lock on the drawbar, so I'll leave it on. I'll work around it. I'm at my digger, engine warning light is on, so I'll have a look with the machine, see what it's telling me. I'll press the camera off, hang on. There we go, NH3 sensor failure. So that is the sensor in that exhaust pipe. It needs changed, so we'll crack on and get that exhaust cover off. Right, I know I've shown you before in a previous video, but I'll show you on the machine and you can sort of picture it a bit better. This is the exhaust manifold, so your fuel's been burnt, you've got exhaust coming out through the turbo and then through this exhaust brake. So the purpose of the exhaust brake is to restrict the exhaust gas leaving the engine, which then generates heat. It'll then come through this tube and it'll reach the first NOx sensor, so that is your downstream NOx sensor there, and that is telling the ECU what the emissions are coming out of the engine. Exhaust then comes through into this chamber here, which is the mixer chamber, where Adblue is injected into the mixing chamber. It mixes the atomized Adblue in with the emissions, and it comes into here, which is the SCR. This is where the science happens, and various chemical reactions take place until it exits the SCR and past the upstream NOx sensor. So now the ECU knows what the emissions are coming out of the engine, now it knows what the emissions are coming out of the SCR, and then it'll hit this NH3 sensor. And I said before, the NH3 sensor is telling the Adblue pump if and how much Adblue is unburnt or unused. And then it comes out the exhaust flap. So that is how Adblue is used on these machines. Right, new sensors on, covers back on. Still got an engine management light. That's fine, because what I need to do now is run the machine up to temperature. It'll do all of its checks and things like that, and hopefully that engine management light will disappear in the next 15 minutes. There we go, 15 minutes later, service test successful and no error code. Didn't even have time to finish my sandwiches. Right, I have a couple of other bits and pieces to do with this, so nothing too exciting though. I'll catch you when I'm done. That's me finished with that digger. I'll not stand outside because it's very windy, but yeah, I've just been sorting the pressures out in it. They were all over the place. The machine was pretty hard work to drive, so yeah, I'm not tell you how to do that, because for the obvious reasons, some people might get it in their head that they need to turn pressures up or turn pressures down, and before you know it, there's pumps going bang all over the place and pipes going pop. So that's me done here anyway. I'll head back down to Carlisle. Right, just a quick one before I go. So this machine that we're working on here, it works on this ground prep job. So once the harvesting team's been in and felled all the trees, this machine will sort drains out to allow excess water away off the fell side, and it'll put these mounds out. And then what happens next is a team of planters come and plant the new trees. So 30 years time, 40 years time, that'll be a tree that's harvested. So yeah, it's a bit like a farmer planting his field of wheat or barley in the winter or spring. Instead of harvesting it every year, you harvest it every 30 or 40 years. So yeah, it's nice up in these woods though, because it's quiet. I mean, I've no phone signal, and the drivers are generally pretty spot on, so happy days. Right, I'll get back here at Carlisle. I've done it while I was off camera. Remind me in future never ever to do any of these seals ever again unless I've got about 4 hours to spare. What an absolute carry on that was. Right, I am ready now in the morning or tomorrow afternoon, whenever I get back from Lancaster, to lift that and sit it onto there. That's the next job, but yeah, home time. See you tomorrow. Yeah, Wednesday morning now, and I'm just heading down into Lancashire to go and look at a 14-ton zero tail swing. It's got an Adblue fault. The code description is NOx conversion low, so it has noticed that the emissions aren't being treated effectively, so it's put it into a D rate. Yeah, not a nice code to go to. It doesn't really pinpoint the failure of any parts or anything like that, so it's a case of start from the beginning in the Adblue tank and just check everything out. So we'll go and have a look, see what we come across. To me 140. I've put my laptop on it and it's saying that the conversion efficiency is low. Right, I've come to the Adblue tank to test the Adblue. First impressions isn't good. I'm presuming, but I'm hoping not, that they haven't been using that as a funnel and that jug to fill it with Adblue. So I'll test the Adblue, but my suspicions are this Adblue is not going to be within spec. I've got the Adblue tank off it and taken the level quality sensor out, and I don't know if you can see, it's got a bit of a sheen on the top of it, which suggests there's some sort of contaminants in there, but the camera doesn't really pick it up, but it's quite cloudy as well. I'm going to drain it out and clean it. I'll have to change the Adblue filters. I've got the tank drained and cleaned and wiped out with some clean rags. So my first job now is replace that suction filter there. It'll act like a sponge really. It'll just have all that manky stuff in it. So I'll change that. I'll change the Adblue filter here inside the Adblue pump. I'll put everything back on the machine and I'll take the exhaust cover off, pull the injector out and hopefully try and flush the Adblue system out of it. I pulled this Adblue injector out. The tip of it looks clean. I've had a look inside the hole. That's as close as you'll get to seeing inside the mixer tube. If the Adblue injector's been leaking, it can build up a crust of unburnt Adblue on there, and when it sprays Adblue in, it just sort of hits the crust and dribbles in, and that can also cause NOx efficiency faults. So everything looks all right. I'm just gonna put that now into a jug and run it up with the laptop without the engine running, and sort of purge the system and get all the rubbish Adblue out the system and get some good stuff through the system. Right, just after 2:30, I've got the system all flushed out and purged. I've put the injector back in. Started raining quite heavily, so I put my phone back in the van, but yeah, I've got the laptop plugged on it now and it's gonna run itself up to temperature. That'll clear the codes, and then after that I'm gonna do a couple of regenerations which will get the exhaust hot and hopefully try and burn out anything that's inside the exhaust that shouldn't be there. So still got a bit to go yet, but I'm gonna have my lunch now. Right, we're just running it through the SCR conditioning, so that'll be getting the temperature in the exhaust up to 340 degrees. It's currently at 315. Normally takes about 15 minutes or so to do. This is the third one that I've done now. If I keep on doing it, it'll hopefully clean out the SCR. Right, it's just after 3 o'clock now. Machine is up and running, no error codes. I've just ran it for a couple of minutes there. Everything seems to be all right, but like I've said with this code, it takes about a week for it to kind of pop back up again. So a week's worth of running before we'll know whether we've cured it. But I've done everything I can without firing a load of expensive parts on it. Hopefully replacing that Adblue is enough to put it right. So time will tell. Right, that's me back up towards Carlisle now, so we'll call it a day. Thanks very much for watching, and don't forget, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Tomorrow's video, I've got, tomorrow I'm going down to a 160 high track in the woods. We've got a bit of a hydraulic issue. I think it's a pilot accumulator, but we will see. Alright, see you in